Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Two topics for this video, and both of them are so imbecilic that I can't help sharing them with you because they are real. They are real, but they are so stupid that really you have to hear about these two topics. The first one, the French foreign minister, who's a baboon by default. Why? His statements and his face. Tells us that Trump will demand unconditional ceasefire from Putin. Or what? So again, these guys haven't learned anything about Russia. Threats do not work. Russia is too strong. But this French foreign minister thinks that Trump will demand unconditional ceasefire from Putin. And what do you think Putin will do? That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to have his left hand on his chair right there. That's the way he holds it. It's going to be like this, and it's going to be like... That's what Putin does. He doesn't look in your eyes like down, with his hand here. Smiles, and that's it. Like you're an imbecile. That's the first topic. The second one, they are afraid to let Trump or release Trump from their leash alone with Putin in a room. If you know what I mean. Why? I mean, Putin should be, and is according to these guys, our champion. The champion of the West, the only Western leader who is allowed to meet Putin. So he is going to meet this guy, and you send this weakling according to these guys. Or, all of a sudden, the evil Putin is a genius as well. Now remember, they, and you know who they are, right? Give us Hollywood. And in Hollywood, they usually portray the evil, the bad dude, as very evil, like Adolf, okay? Very evil. But they portray like a genius evil. So that's how they portray it. Therefore, Putin is evil. That's by default. I mean, after all, look at him, right? And then the other one is genius in his evilness. But they sent Trump to negotiate with this guy. Now you gotta make up your mind. Is Putin an instinct guy, an emotional guy, or not? Is he a madman? Is he a genius? Is he a smart guy, but only in the evil stuff, in the good stuff? He doesn't have that side. This is how Hollywood and your history books portrayed some of our leaders that we are supposed to hate. Why? Because they got a big scare. Now, what's going on here? Trump alone in a room with Putin is a recipe for disaster. Why is that? Because either Trump is not their boy, and he might say certain things that would maybe destroy the myth of Trump being owned. And they try to say, don't let him over there, because if you let him over there, he might do stuff. Whatever Trump is going to discuss over there is going to be overruled by the guys behind him when he comes back from that room. Got that? Just to cut the crap. So this is a baboonish statement. Even if Putin is so smart, the KGB guy, and Trump is so baboonish, when Trump comes from there, he didn't sign anything. He's going to come out, let's say after his butthole is like this big, supposedly after Putin's big shaft, okay? He's going to come out. What do you think these guys will do? Do you think Trump is going to say, now get ready, I discussed with Putin, we're going to make peace, it's going to be like this, half of Ukraine over there, the other half in the same place? Do you think that's going to happen? He may say that, but his advisor is going to say, Donald, have a seat, Donald. He's going to be like, Donald, have a seat. And he's going to be overruled in about 5 minutes. So this is the baboonish situation. But let's start with the first one, with a threat. With a threat that supposedly Donald Trump have to issue to Putin. Ukrainska pravda. Thursday, 14th of August 2025. Trump will demand unconditional ceasefire from Putin. French foreign minister. Now, as a foreign minister, he's too young and too stupid, and I think too paid for. So, in order to demand an ultimatum, say it, you have to be winning the fight, correct? And say, man, I'm gonna destroy you right now, knock you out, stop. Unconditional surrender. Otherwise, I will just do like the Americans did. War crimes, the two of them at least. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they would have gone to the next one, and next one, and next one. And they demanded unconditional surrender. Why? Because the other guys were losing. These guys would have exterminated the Japanese. That's why they would have. That's a genocide, by the way. Nevertheless, this guy thinks that Trump, based on what kind of evidence, should put in an ultimatum like that. Remember, this guy, what's his name? The French guy, French Foreign Minister, Jean-Noël Barrot. Mr. Barrot, based on what kind of evidence, supporting evidence, factual evidence, do you think that Trump should go and demand this from Putin? I mean, by all measures or measurements in Ukraine, the Russians are advancing west. I'm not talking about the pace. I'm talking about the reality. They're moving. So that means these guys are losing, aren't they? I mean, can you accept that? The second one, the Russian economy and the Russians are not showing any signs that they will get their forks, the pitchforks and their torches and go to the Kremlin and pull a Gaddafi on Putin. So where are you winning to demand such a unconditional surrender? Now remember this guy, I'm going to put his face over there. This guy right here, he is the diplomat. Top diplomat of the French nation. Well, the wrong color, obviously. Pretty soon it's going to be the right color, the French nation. And this guy comes and says that as a diplomat, you have to have knowledge of history, psychology, human interaction. You have to be flexible. You have to be a weasel. You have to be tough. You have to be into experience, life-threatening experiences in order to be a tough guy when you sit in front of someone. You're not scared of that guy's face or balls or anything like that. You've been through stuff. That helps a lot. Direct exposure, not that kind of exposure. Exposure to life encounters, real situations, give you the confidence to not be swayed by a guy's whatever. And this guy seems to me like he's a gigolo. I mean, can you see the V marks on his face? I can still see it. All right, and the juice is dripping down. So here is this guy. Now, this is imbecilic. Will, not should, may, could, no, will. He will do this, man. Unconditional ceasefire from Putin. I thought that he cannot demand anything. I made another video earlier today where I enumerated what Trump is allowed to negotiate with Putin and what Trump is not allowed to negotiate with Putin. Go and watch that video if you want. If you don't, I'm gonna fucking smack you. All right, just kidding. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna reach ya and grab ya. Can you see my hand? Can you feel it? Can you feel the squeeze? All right, let's go to the next topic. News war. Now, this is not from the news war. I didn't pick it from there. I picked it from something else. And let me show you where I picked it from. The original that I can't find anymore. This is the ongoing situations. They come with a title. I pick the title and then they change it. The Guardian. You see the Guardian over there? Let me see what time I picked this up at. At 6:09 a.m. when you were having sex with yourself. Trump. 6:09. See on the top? Trump alone in a room with Putin is a recipe for disaster. Just look at their last meeting. Andrew Roth in Washington. Okay, The Guardian. And I can't find the article in the same format. I find it in the same title, but from News War. And here it says from The Guardian. So correct. And what's happening? They're afraid that Putin is going to destroy Trump. And what do they use? Helsinki as an example. I will discuss it. Now, The Telegraph. This is now Cameron Henderson. Fiona Hill. It's a mistake for Trump to meet Putin alone. I think this is insulting to Trump. Trump alone in a room with Putin is a recipe for disaster. Just look to their last meeting. And they use Helsinki. I will explain. And then this one, an expert. Don't you like experts? Look at this. Cruella de Vil. Right there. Political expert. Leaving Trump alone with KGB operative is a recipe for disaster. So now you have to agree. You can't have it both ways. Are the KGB guys good in a way that are trained well, only in evil stuff, all right, or not? So you can't just say KGBs are just evil baboons. You have to say they're evil geniuses or something. So she, the expert, is the political expert, and the other one, Fiona was a Russian something. Fiona is served on the National Security Council during Mr. Trump's first term. Now let's unpack this. There's so many narratives. First, is Trump good negotiator? If he's not, then I understand. Then why do you send Trump to negotiate? They send Trump. Now, if they don't send Trump, how comes Trump wormed himself into negotiations with Putin? He must have something. What can he have? After all, according to some, he fooled half of the Americans to vote for him, right? So he is the only the only Western leader that is allowed or is willing to talk to Putin. No one else is talking, and no one else can stop him from talking. So he must have something the other guys don't have. What exactly? Big balls? Negotiation power? What does he have? The power of the United States? Why Biden did not talk to Putin? Obviously, he could not even mention, my name is what? My name is what? Slim Shady, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what it is, my friends. You have to give him something. This is your champion that everybody pushes or cannot stop to talk with the evil guy over there. Genius evil guy. Then, that's your champion? Now, let's say Trump is good. Then why are you afraid of the other guy? Now, we heard that Putin is a madman. He's a war criminal with no court decision yet, but he is, but in America, we have innocent until proven guilty or something like this. All right. So but in this case, no, he is a war criminal. They talk like he is already one. Why? But hey, American presidents were not. So he is this baboon, instinctual guy, a guy who acts emotionally. Not with intelligence, he's just a crazy guy, a mad, illogical guy. Because remember, he invaded Ukraine unjustified. Unjustified invasion. That means he didn't use logic. But all of a sudden, he's so good at something evil, like Adolf. Adolf was evil, man, and he was in his evilness. Really? I thought he was a good painter. Is that a fact? I mean, I want you to go and check that guy's paintings in watercolor, not in oil. I painted in watercolor and I painted in oil. And I think I was a pretty good painter. I'm not, but I will give myself a 6. All right? Let's say. I think in watercolor, go and check his works. If you can paint better than him, then you're a better painter and he's a shitty painter. But I don't think that's the case. I can't paint like him. Well, he was not accepted twice from Vienna Arts Conservatory. Blah, 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 blah. Have you been? Do you know how many conservatives, conservators, how many arts, how do you want to call it, institutions were at that time in Vienna? We're not talking about, I don't know, Kuala Lumpur University of Arts. We're talking about Vienna at that time. So, when these guys laughed that he was anyway. Let me give you something. I don't want to give you the whole thing, but I have to do like this. The samurai and the globe. So that's one of my paintings right there. I did that. I think I'm a pretty good painter. But I'm telling you, this guy, go and look at his paintings. And if you can paint better than that, very good. You're a very good painter. Equal. So, these guys do not allow Trump to talk. What happened in Helsinki? In Helsinki, when Trump and Putin met, they agreed to meet one-on-one only with their translators, supposedly. If you know anything about intelligence services, CIA, KGB, Mossad, MI6, and so on, you don't have to be involved in that. You just have to read about it. Those rooms are most likely bugged. Don't have to be bugged inside, from outside, and not from inside. So what these guys spoke in that room in Helsinki, alone, yeah, we're gonna fuck these guys up. What they talked, there were at least 24 other ears, foreign ears, to that conversation. But they make it as if that was the world decided. What they decided about that one. What they decided. Why? I mean, is he in charge or he's not in charge? If we are to be true to our democracies, then the person we elected, he is the president to represent us. All right? And he is smart and good because we voted for him. Therefore, we give him the trust, the expertise. Like when you hire a plumber, you hire him because he's the best you found for the price. That's why you do it. So you have to give the plumber says, well, you gotta change this pipe right here because this is rotten or whatever. It's going to have to do this. I suggest you're not gonna say zip it. I tell you. That's why you hire the guy. Otherwise, you fire the guy and you do it yourself, which you don't. Otherwise, you will run for elections and so on if you have about some $2 billion to invest in the campaigns. This is democracy for you. So you got this guy elected. He's going to go over there. I think he should have the power to talk to the other president or whomever the other guy in your name. Why do you need all those guys that are appointed by him after all? Who do you expect to be in the room? And why? Because Trump is going to talk. So Trump is going to talk to Putin. It's not going to be the advisors or the CIA guys or whomever are around him. They're not going to talk. They're not going to pull a leash or point his ass, with something. Hey, don't say this. Stop, Trump. Nobody's going to do anything. So what's the purpose? Do you think the purpose is so these guys can hear what they talk? I already told you these guys have many other means to hear what these guys are talking. So that's baboonish. This is just a way to tell us that actually Trump has power. I don't think Trump has power. As I said, Trump can decide in that room with Putin, come out and say, I decided to give America to the Russians. He can say what the fuck ever he wants. From there until the signing and implementing that, there's a lot of bullets, a lot of poison, a lot of helicopters falling, a lot of heart attacks, a lot of mini strokes, a lot of things. Threats, blackmails, and you know how things go. So it's so idiotic. That's life. What I just said, that is real life. Not, oh my God. So again, you give Putin too much credit, or what? Or you give the other one too little credit. What? He was elected to represent you. Why do you want to let him go inside of that room with the advisors he chose? He chose those guys to help him. Now, if he decides that he doesn't need those guys, what the fuck is your problem? So what happened in Helsinki? They had this conversation for about an hour and a half or so, almost 2 hours if I remember correctly. And in those 2 hours when Putin and Trump came up and said, no, Russia, did you tell Putin not to interfere in our elections? Like we don't interfere in everybody's, but hey, double standard. He said, yes, I told Putin and Putin said he didn't. And everybody was, oh, so you trust Putin? Well, it turned out that it was kind of Russia, remember? Interference. But these guys, I have to remind you, in Yeltsin time, the State Department and CIA had operatives hired. They were in Boris Yeltsin's campaign when Yeltsin was running for his presidency the second time. They had him over there. The State Department has employees working for the American government in Yeltsin's campaign to help him win, to help dance like a baboon, to point the fingers like the American imbecile presidents and so on. They were having, but they never interfered. Nothing, man. No. But the Russians did with those 3 commercials from the Montenegro or whatever that was, from Macedonia. Sorry, North Macedonia. They all want Alexander the Great, don't they? Like, by saying that, they have it. It's like you see these people drinking beer and watch a football game And the players are playing, and after the game ends, yeah, we won, like they were actively, yeah, man, we won. No, those particular footballers, those won, not you. You won a little bit. Your balls are bigger because you associate yourself with those guys. The same with these guys with North Macedonia. Oh, we have North Macedonia. We have, forget, Bela. Yeah, Alexander is ours. No, Alexander is ours. None of you. Alexander is Alexander's. That's what he is. I want you to be next Alexander. Be Gigi. Gigi the Great. And then you can say, yeah, man, I did it my way. But until then, what's the association? The blood somehow? It's so, oh, my dad was, I don't know, had a PhD. It doesn't mean you have a PhD. It doesn't mean you're smart or anything like that. The same here. Anyway, here is, my friends, ultimatum, and don't let Trump talk to Putin, because Putin is gonna be, trust in me, just in me, close your eyes and trust in me. Remember the Mowgli, the Jungle Books, the original cartoon, not the book, with Ka, the snake. Trust in me. Thank you very much for being with me again. That's Putin. And somehow Trump is like, stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just, man. Man, I'm having fun here, don't I?